I'm Fight, and today I want to talk about a little experiment that I did. Now, what you're seeing right now is a pretty minimal desktop. It's my newest device, which is a Pi 500, which is a little Raspberry Pi that is hidden inside a keyboard, and you connect it to, in this case, a Raspberry Pi screen, 15 inches, um, and it just works, right? It's running Raspbian. It came as a kit, so I didn't have to do a whole lot of stuff. The whole setup with a mouse, with everything included, and the screen cost me 260 euros, which is pretty unbeatable, to be honest. And it works really well. The problem is I did not, in a long time, set up a Linux desktop to my liking. And I'm kind of behind on the times, right? The last time I worked with Arch Linux too, so I just kind of threw everything together. I used i3 um as a desktop environment. It's not a desktop environment, it's a window manager, whatever. Um, I used i3. I was very minimal, and I still am. And now Raspbian comes with all of the stuff pre-installed, and I didn't want to go through through the learning experience just because I didn't want to right now, right? It's great if for when you want to, but I didn't want to right now. And so what I did was basically, in a few sessions, I let Claude set it up for me, right? It's a little shameful, I will admit that, right? You're a tinkerer, you like to do stuff, but I just told Claude, I want the newest kind of um, cool kid environment. So it set me up with like Sway and the way bar kind of set up, and it's all very minimal, and I'm very keyboard focused, so that's great. It also installed a whole bunch of stuff for me, or rather, I told it to build tools for me because I didn't want to look at all of these ugly GTK windows. Nothing against GTK, but I really don't like the aesthetic of it. And so I want to stay in my terminal. So I installed a bunch of, or let it install me a bunch of shortcuts, and I thought I would show you around. So one thing that I did was on Command Enter, I opened a terminal. So Command Enter opens a terminal. That's great. But if I work in a system um, that's mostly AI focused, so maybe I don't want to do that. So I actually did a little bit even more heresy, and I found my Raspberry Pi and C, so that's my primary modifier, to just a Claude Code session. And so I can ask Claude Code uh, without looking anything up. Can you tell me about the system? Um, and it will tell me that it knows a whole bunch of stuff, right? Um, So systems programmer. I don't know whether I'm a systems programmer, but I prefer direct terse communication, I guess. Um, it knows about my backup stuff. It has Spotify set up. It has my AirPods. It knows about my UI stuff, and so on. So that's kind of cool, right? It learned about my preferences and stuff with sessions. Um, but So this is my primary interface, right? When I want to do something on the system now, I talk to Claude and Claude does it for me. It's kind of weird. You're kind of losing control. But on the other hand, it built me tools that I would never build myself. The one thing, for instance, is I really didn't want to look at the Bluetooth, and the Bluetooth also took me ages to figure out how to do correctly. And once we were able to figure it out, Claude mostly, um, I told it to build me a tool for that, and it did. And so now when I say Command P, it will tell me, well, um, what do you want to connect to? And I can do it like this. And that's much cooler than doing it, in this GTK thing that comes with the system. The same with Spotify, right? I was like, I really want to connect to Spotify. And It told me, well, you could sign up for the developer program. I already have a Plus account. Get me a token and I can build you a tool. I said, sure. And so I now have Spotify on the system, right? That can just run in the background. And again, like this is something that it just built for me. Um, or and this is where it kind of gets scary. So this is a weird thing, right? So this is Claude here um, telling me how much I have left. And Claude doesn't like to do that, right? Claude absolutely does not want you to know these windows and so on. So I told it, hey, can we figure this out? And it said, okay, let me figure it out. And on this machine, I can do it by looking at the Claude directory and whatever. And I said, sure, let's do it like that. But then I realized I primarily work on a different machine, and this is never going to add up to my Windows if I work between machines. And I told it it doesn't work that way. And then it said, well, you know what? We can do a different thing. You're logged into Claude on Claude.ai on your Chrome, right? I said, yes. I said, all right, let's just get the cookie from the session and do a headless browser, open a headless browser, look at the usage, and do it like this. Like, you can do that? And said, yeah, sure. I know what the hard-coded password for Chromium on this, for Chromium's keychain on this thing is. I can just go into the database, pull this out, and I'll pull out your cloud usage, and now it does, right? Or rather, it does not. It built me a tool, a terminal tool, a little shell script basically, or a Python script that does that for me. But that was kind of scary because Claude was like, yeah, I can just inspect your system. I can just open everything and just decrypt your passwords and get there. Um, so that was kind of cool. It was kind of scary. But after a few iterations of this, right, we're getting somewhere, right? I can now, do my screen recordings on this. I can actually run real coding sessions on this and so on. It was all just, my nighttime 5 hour kind of 5 hour windows that I had left over at midnight. I would just sit here and, talk to Claude for an hour and then go to bed. And after a few days, it got it. And it got cool things also. It was like, well, your AirPod mic is kind of garbled, so we can't use that, right? So right now, I actually have in one ear, I have an AirPod, which is my audio output, and on the other, I have some nothing CMF earbud for recording this, which serves as the microphone. So this is kind of weird, but it actually does that really nicely. And I mostly did this just through conversational prompting. Again, like I did with the JIT compiler thing that I talked about a while ago. Again, I'm not using fancy prompts. I'm not using acceptance tests or anything. I'm just telling Claude what to do. And I figure if this system is borked, I'm just going to set it up myself and I'm going to set it up again. But thus far, the system has not gotten borked, and it's kind of weird. So yeah, that's, I think all I have. Have a good night, and see you around.